So far in this course, we've basically been covering how to get started as a YouTube influencer. We've been focused on what you need to do to create your channel and develop your audience. And those steps are critical to building the foundation of what's going to become your professional livelihood. But there's a huge step still left. It's a step that differentiates between a hobbyist and a professional influencer. It's the part that could actually change your life. Monetization, aka making bank. This is probably the most misunderstood and intimidating step for most people trying to become a YouTube professional. Because it's such a non-traditional way to make a living, we're pre-programmed to be skeptical that it can work. Even though we've all heard about YouTube stars making incredible livings, a lot of people don't really believe that they can generate that kind of revenue. Whatever your goal is, whatever dream life you'd like to live if you could only afford it, I'm here to tell you, you can make more than enough money to live that dream on YouTube. Honestly, it isn't even that hard to get this kind of revenue flow started. The reason most people don't do it isn't because it's difficult, it's because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. So, in this last module of this course, that's what we're going to be showing you. How to take the channel you've created and the audience you've developed and turn them into a big, fat paycheck. Once you're ready to start monetizing your channel, there are multiple ways that you can actually get real money coming in. In this section, we're going to go through all of them in detail. But first, I wanted to introduce each of them by telling you about exactly how we use them to build a single YouTube channel into our own multi-million-dollar business. Now, at first, our content was all free. We were focused on just growing our audience as quickly as we could for a long time. We figured that by giving away free content and by association free value, that we could develop a huge audience of rabid fans. Our strategy was to get as big as possible, as fast as possible, and then figure out how to monetize later. As we grew larger and larger, something really interesting happened. Our audience basically told us when it was time to start monetizing. We were so successful with our infotainment content that people started seeing us as experts and started begging us in forums and comment sections to release longer, more in-depth videos. Our content was hitting in terms of both entertainment and information, but it was clearly the information that people really wanted more of in terms of what they would pay for, which makes sense, right? Kong and I aren't the world's greatest actors or comedians or whatever, but the information we were sharing about how men could become more confident was really resonating with our core audience. So for us, it was pretty obvious that the first attempt to monetize our channel would be by creating an information product. We created an information product called Project Go, a product that, despite its terrible name, was a huge hit, raising well over 7 figures in revenue. In fact, 4 years later, Project Go continues to bring in a pretty significant amount of monthly revenue for us. Project Go was basically an extended and personalized version of the content we were putting on our YouTube channel. We gave individual coaching and exclusive content to our Project Go subscribers, who by definition were people that were already huge fans of our main channel. And guess what? Only 1% of our viewers purchased Project Go, which on the surface might not make sense. But again, this was enough to drive millions of dollars in revenue. I wanted to introduce this concept to you first because it's really the one that I recommend the most. Information products are one of the most efficient revenue streams available. Selling information cuts out middlemen from your transaction with your audience. It's got a high rate of success because it's usually a direct continuation of your already proven content, and it tends to have incredibly high margins because selling information doesn't require shipping or manufacturing or anything like that. For example, you're watching an information product right now. Once this course was written, filmed, and edited, the costs were essentially closed forever. Outside of marketing, there's no additional cost to us. It doesn't matter if we sell 1,000 or 1,000,000. That means that with every information product you sell, you're actually increasing your margins and the financial efficiency of your business. That's the kind of advantage that can generate huge sums of money quickly. But as much as I love and recommend information products, that's only one of several revenue streams that we created that were very rewarding for us. One of the more traditional ones was selling merchandise. This is about as straightforward a monetization strategy as you could ever have. You're selling t-shirts, hats, coffee mugs, anything that you can slap your logo or catchphrase on and selling those directly to your audience. Now, the thing about merchandise is it's a little bit unpredictable. When we were making merchandise for Simple Pickup and Project Go, our first couple attempts didn't really do much for us. We tried selling t-shirts and certain images and quotes that our fans loved, and we sold some, but definitely not enough that we could do anything meaningful with the money coming in. But then, suddenly, one of our designs caught fire. One of our catchphrases was "Live life in God mode," and this just happened to be a huge hit for our users in the right way. Then all of a sudden, we were making amazing sales in t-shirts. We didn't even make the shirts. We used Teespring, which is a website that lets you upload your design, and they handle everything from manufacturing to actually selling the t-shirts. And we learned a ton. Selling merchandise is an art all on its own. Yes, it can be unpredictable, but if you can get a piece of merchandise that really resonates with your core fans, then it can be a really, really easy way to create a revenue stream. Plus, you're making all those customers into basically walking billboards for your channel. We'll dive into the specifics of how and where to create your merchandise in another video, but for now, know that it's a really low effort way to start bringing in immediate revenue. One of the other easy ways to bring in revenue is brand deals. Brand deals are essentially integrated advertising when a company pays you to use or show their products in your videos. Brand deals are amazing and they have brought in significant revenue for our channels. We'll get anywhere from $10,000 to $36,000 simply by mentioning a brand in a video. Later, we're gonna get into extreme detail on how to cultivate and negotiate brand deals. But for now, let's keep moving and let's talk about multi-channel networks, also known as MCNs. An MCN is basically an attempt to take several unrelated YouTube channels and group them all under one brand. MCNs promise to help YouTube channels by helping them grow. Now, the truth is, MCNs actually suck. They actually provide very little value to you, especially if you're following the steps in this course. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't join one. There's one specific reason that you can make it absolutely worth it, and that's something like a signing bonus. If an MCN really wants to add you to their brand, then you can negotiate a pretty significant one-time signing bonus depending where you are in your channel's development. Also, MCNs are really great for helping you navigate the legalities of your YouTube channel. For example, if you get a copyright strike, they can help you. If you get a video taken down, they can help you. You just have to make sure that you don't get screwed with the contract. We go into extreme detail on how to navigate the MCN landscape in the Q&A section. Now let's talk about ad revenue. That's something that you really want to be generating as well. The best way to do this on YouTube is also the simplest, Google AdSense. It's incredibly easy to set up, and once it's set, you can pretty much forget it until the checks start rolling in. There's no real way to help or hurt your AdSense revenue besides getting as many views as possible, which I assume you're trying to do. AdSense doesn't bring in a ton of cash, but every little bit helps, and there's virtually no work required to open up this revenue stream. Finally, I want to talk to you about one very popular method that we actually never use at Simple Pickup. It's called crowdfunding. Many of our influencer friends use crowdfunding very successfully. Over the last couple of years, sites like Patreon have connected content creators directly to the pockets of their audience members, allowing them to essentially donate to their favorite creators to keep them solvent. This method is probably the most effective if your channel is primarily entertainment-based. It's difficult to sell an information entertainment product because your fans are essentially paying for the entertainment after the fact, simply because the free content brought them so much joy. Now, crowdfunding is a bit more complicated than that. It's not necessarily just charity coming your way, but we'll get into the nuances in a later video. What's important to understand right now is that while it might seem scary or impossible to think of making enough money on YouTube to live your dreams, it's actually surprisingly easy. Again, we did it to the tune of millions of dollars, and we didn't have anyone showing us the way like you do in this course. It can be done, and you're going to do it. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty. The next few videos are going to delve into detail on all the monetization methods that I just talked about.